Today, we're delving into the miracle of making a family. We're going to explore the biological blueprint, the silent struggles so many people face, and the groundbreaking science that's completely rewriting the rules of what's possible.
So, how does life actually begin? Well, it all starts with this fundamental biological blueprint for human reproduction. It's really a story of two totally distinct systems that have to work together in perfect harmony. All right, let's start with that reproductive blueprint. We'll kick off our tour with the female system, because that's where the entire, incredible 9-month journey of a new life is designed to unfold.
So, the female reproductive system, it really has two main jobs. First, to produce the egg, and second, to provide a safe, nourishing home for a baby to grow. You've got the key players here: the ovaries, which create the eggs, the fallopian tubes, which are basically the pathway where fertilization happens, and then the uterus, this incredibly powerful organ that can house a developing fetus for 9 whole months.
You know, when you see their functions side by side like this, it's really like two halves of a puzzle clicking together. The female system makes the egg and provides the environment for growth, while the male system's entire job is to produce and deliver the millions of sperm needed for that one single crucial moment of fertilization. Okay, now let's zoom in a little bit on what we're calling the ovarian clock. The ovaries are really the command center of the female cycle. And what happens inside them every single month is just a marvel of biological precision.
And this cosmic clock analogy, it's perfect, because this process isn't random at all. It's this complex, cyclical, and meticulously timed sequence of hormonal signals and physical changes, all of it orchestrated for one purpose: getting the body ready for a potential pregnancy.
So this cross-section of an ovary shows us exactly what's going on inside. You see, immature egg cells are housed inside these little protective structures called follicles, and each month a select few of these follicles start to grow and mature, going through several key stages in like a race to become the one that gets to release an egg.
The whole thing, the entire ovarian cycle, is driven by this symphony of hormones. Early on, you've got a hormone called FSH. That's follicle stimulating hormone, and it basically tells the follicles, okay, time to start growing. Then, right around day 14, there's this massive surge in another hormone, LH, which triggers the main event. One mature egg is finally released. And that critical moment is what we call ovulation.
Now, if that egg is successfully fertilized by a sperm, which usually happens in the fallopian tube, its journey is just beginning. It travels for several days towards the uterus, dividing and developing as it goes until it's finally ready to implant itself into the uterine wall. And that's where a new life can truly begin to grow.
But, this incredibly intricate journey, it doesn't always go as planned. For millions of people all over the world, this carefully orchestrated process faces some major challenges, creating a really painful barrier to starting a family.
And this brings us to the challenge of infertility. It's really not a rare or isolated problem. In fact, it's recognized as a major global health issue that affects people absolutely everywhere.
The World Health Organization gives us a really clear clinical definition. It's officially recognized as a disease of the reproductive system. And that's an important step because it acknowledges how serious it is and the very real need for medical care.
The sheer scale of this is just staggering. I mean, think about this number for a second. 1 in 6. That means a huge portion of the global population is going to face infertility at some point. This isn't an issue for just one country or one group of people. It really affects everyone everywhere.
And it's so crucial to understand that infertility is not just a physical condition. It carries this heavy emotional and social weight. It often leads to things like anxiety, depression, and a painful social stigma that can and often does disproportionately affect women.
So where do you even begin to find the cause? Well, unraveling the why is the absolute first step toward finding a solution. But as we're about to see, the reasons can be surprisingly complex.
When doctors start to investigate, they find that infertility can come from issues within the female system, the male system, or sometimes it's a combination of both. And then there's a number of cases where even after all the tests, the specific cause just remains unexplained.
The diagnostic process is very systematic, almost like detective work. For women, doctors run key tests to answer 2 big questions. First, is ovulation actually happening correctly? And second, are the fallopian tubes open? For men, the cornerstone of the whole diagnosis is a semen analysis.
And together, these tests help create a map to pinpoint exactly where that journey is being interrupted.
But, and this is a really big but, in the face of these challenges, a whole new chapter is being written. This brings us to the incredible innovations in care, where technology is offering new hope and real, tangible possibilities for millions.
There's this wave of innovation that's totally transforming the field of what's called assisted reproductive technology, or ART. And these advancements aren't just about improving success rates. They're really focused on making treatments less invasive and way more accessible than they've ever been before.
4 key areas are really leading this revolution. We have AI now helping doctors pick the healthiest embryos with incredible accuracy, which really boosts the chances of success. Non-invasive genetic tests mean we can check an embryo's health without a risky biopsy. Egg freezing has become so much more reliable, giving people more control over their own timelines. And personalized medicine is finally moving us away from one-size-fits-all treatments to approaches that are tailored to an individual's unique biology.
This number right here, this is a complete game changer. Thanks to a technique called vitrification, which is basically a flash freezing method that prevents damaging ice crystals from forming, the survival rate for frozen eggs has just soared above 90%. This is what makes preserving your fertility a truly viable and reliable option now.
You know, the lines between biology and technology are blurring faster than ever, constantly pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. And as these tools become more powerful and more accessible, it really forces us to ask what new possibilities will emerge for building a family. The science is evolving every single day, and it's fundamentally changing the answer to one of life's oldest questions.